So, you have a cheap ukulele like this, or you're thinking of buying one, you can get a pretty good sound out of them. You just need to make a few modifications, which I'll show you now. For this example, I'm going to be using this Makala Dolphin ukulele, which is a semi-plastic soprano ukulele, and one of the cheapest you can find. One of the first things you'll want to do when you get a new cheap ukulele is to change the strings, because simply the strings that come on a cheap ukulele are usually shite. And the difference is very noticeable. You get a much better sound when you change the strings. I use Aquila Super Nail Gut strings. Those are pretty cool. And over here I have a guitar string actually, so that I get a low G. If you want to see more about that, you can check out my other video where I compare different ways of getting a low G string in cheap ways on your ukulele. I like having low G in general. It gives more volume and more vibration, more soul to the sound. You can oil your ukulele. The cheap Makala Dolphin ukulele is made of plastic, mostly, but has a wooden front. So anything that's made of wood can be oiled. Also, the fretboard is made of wood. To do this, you'll need a piece of paper, or a few pieces of paper, or a t-shirt is the best. Some white cloth. So I'll be cutting off a little piece of this old t-shirt. This is not fine, high-class ukulele care. There are special oils made for fretboards. That's not what I'm going to be using. I like using cheap olive oil. Some flutists use to oil their flutes, for example, and it's actually very nice and nourishes the wood. Keeps moisture away, so it protects your ukulele from humidity also. First, for the fretboard, I just put a little bit of oil on the piece of cloth. I pass it here under the strings. Taking off the strings would help, but well, let's be lazy. Now the saddle. And finally, the inside. Now, I know some people would say not to do this, but I've been using it for a while on my charango, and I actually feel it gives a good sound. I like to nourish all wooden parts, that way you're also waterproofing it a bit from everywhere. Since you can't reach the inside of the ukulele, I just pour some oil in. This way it can drip all around, and you can spread it on the top surface of your ukulele. You might want to do this over a sink so that you don't get oil to drip all over the place. Here it is, resting upside down on a plate overnight so that all the excess drips out. Now again, this is not a standard thing to do, so if you don't believe me, don't try it on your expensive ukulele. Maybe on a travel ukulele that you want to weatherproof as much as possible. After having been oiled inside and out, it's nice and shiny. You just wait for it to dry out a little bit, a few hours, a day to dry completely, and then of course, tune your ukulele. You can do this using a little tuner like this, or do it by ear. Changes in humidity and temperature, like playing outside, will get your ukulele out of tune, but that's completely fine because you can just tune it again. Why do I feel like a weather reporter? Finally, if you're really feeling adventurous, you can transform your normal 4-string ukulele into an actual 8-string ukulele, which really gives it a different sound. And you can have the low G and the high G at the same time. To do this, you can check out my other video where I explain this in detail. Smells like olive oil. Smells like spaghetti. Like pesto. I'm hungry. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time, I hope. Pesto.